guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be bringing you one of my most highly requested videos, my tips for transitioning from relaxed to natural hair. This has got to be by far one of the most highly requested videos. This is the topic I get so many questions on because, as most of you may know, I transitioned for 2 years. Yes, 2 years. It sounds crazy to some of you who may be a few months in and already like, no girl, my big chop is coming soon. So I compiled a list of 10 tips that have worked wonders for me. These tips are tips that can work for anybody transitioning with any hair type, any texture, any length, any whatever. Like, this is a good list of tips that will get you through, I promise you. So let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna stop babbling because I'm about to talk a lot with this list of tips. So let's get right into it. Tip number 1, stay away from heat. I know it may be hard if you're the type of girl who's used to constantly putting direct heat on her hair. Like, I was a big flat iron type of girl. I also love my curling wand, but during this time you have to put those away. Hide them in a drawer, hide them in a closet. Do whatever you need to do to keep them away from you, because the last thing you want is to damage your new, beautiful, healthy, natural hair that's coming in with heat. Because you'll get 5 months down the line, and if all you're doing is applying direct heat to your hair, guess what? You'll have heat damage and you'll have to start your journey over. And ain't nobody got time to start a journey over. No, girl. Put the heat away, stay away from it, and you will be fine. Tip number 2, create a consistent hair routine along with a consistent hair day. I personally picked a day of the week that was going to be wash day. That was going to be wash day consistently. I needed a routine and I needed a schedule to follow, because honestly, you don't really look forward to wash days. You're kind of like, oh, you dread it. You don't want to be rushing. You don't want to do your hair and you have like an hour, and the next thing you know, your friend's calling you up like, hey girl, we're trying to go to brunch, and you're like, oh, okay. Then you start to neglect your hair. Create a routine and pick a day where you follow that routine, and then each week it becomes second nature and you're kind of just going through it like clockwork, and that's what you want. Tip number 3, wash your hair in sections. I promise you this was so helpful for me, because once I started to get a certain amount of natural hair coming in, putting my head back in that shower and just scrubbing it all was not even an option, because next thing you know, you have unnecessary tangles that you didn't have before, but you pretty much created by trying to wash all your hair at once, and it can just become a mess. It may seem longer, like, oh my gosh, sections and doing each section at a time, but I promise you, once you do sections that are smaller and you shampoo and you rinse and you condition and you detangle, it's like literally it goes like this. Like, it goes super fast because smaller sections are just easier to manage. Those tangles are no joke. No joke. Sections, people. Tip number 4, always detangle your hair while wet and with conditioner. Never, ever take a comb through your hair while it is dry. You will regret that. You will not be able to transition for long term, because your hair will pop off, break, pop. Next thing you know, you have a bunch of uneven pieces and you're just gonna have to big chop. So say goodbye to long-term transitioning. Say goodbye to holding on to that length. Do not do it. Always make sure you are detangling your hair while it's wet, and also get a good conditioner with slip. This way it'll help you glide your fingers or that comb through your hair with no problem. For me, Aussie Moist was holy grail. It still is holy grail. It's like Lord and Savior for me. It has so much slip. It's inexpensive. You can buy a big bottle of it where you can be very generous, because I'm very generous with conditioner for detangling, and I just like slop it right on and just comb through. And it's so easy, and that's how I detangle. Never detangle your hair while it's dry. Please, don't do it. Don't do it. Girl, don't do it. Tip number 5, deep condition weekly. You want to make sure that you are really penetrating your hair with the moisture that it needs. So invest in a good deep conditioner. Also, to maximize on that moisture and that penetration, get yourself a steamer. I steam my hair every week with my deep conditioner. I've been doing it since transitioning, and I still do it now. I'll leave the link below in the description box where you can purchase the steamer that I use. It wasn't pricey at all. They have a bunch of different ones, but if you don't have a steamer and not really interested in getting one, although I do recommend it, you can still use your hooded dryer. Hooded dryers are perfect for deep conditioning as well. Sit under there 15-20 minutes, however long your deep conditioner suggests you sit there for. That's great. Also, you can find those heated caps that I think you like pop them in a microwave, take it out, it's hot, and then you can wear it and walk around the house and do whatever you need to do. Whichever tool will help you, buy it in deep condition. Your hair will love you for doing it, and you will maintain that moisture that your hair needs. So don't skimp and make sure you deep condition once a week. Tip number 6, try not to be a product junkie. And that's coming from a product junkie. But if I could go back and tell myself something while I was transitioning that I know now, is you really don't need to buy every trending natural product out. You don't have to buy every product that people like myself and us influencers and bloggers and YouTubers are using and doing. You don't really have to. I would recommend you find a product that works, which will take trial and error. You will have to go through a few things, but once you find what works, just use it. Just use it and just stick to it, because you don't really need to keep trying all these other products. I would say wait until you're fully natural and then try those products. Later on down the line, if you want to be a product junkie, you can. But during your transition, I would say get you a shampoo and a conditioner and a deep conditioner. You know, things that work, stick to it. Tip number 7, find a few styles that work and stick to those styles. For me, braid outs really worked well. Rod sets worked well for me. I actually have those videos on my channel. I'll leave them in the description box below or put them up here or somewhere. But those styles really worked for me. Braid outs in particular were my go-to because it just blended my textures the best, and it was a style that I was able to get like a good amount of days in before it was time to throw my hair up in a bun. I got really tired of it, I will be honest. It was just like, oh, I just want something else. And then I would kind of zhuzh it up a little bit by doing my top knot, because that was my go-to, my all day, every day. It was cute, I rocked it, I loved it. But I did that kind of spiced it up some, made it look a little different. Then I started doing like the 2 little buns with the back out versus just the one. Like, find ways to style it. Put a few braids in the front. I would do like 2 twists and have the back out. Just find different ways to give yourself kind of different looks. You want to be able to go to work looking decent. You want to be able to go out with your friends looking decent. So when things work, just stick to it. And that way you don't have to keep manipulating your hair, which just causes breakage, and you don't want that. Tip number 8, try protective styling to give yourself a break. I'm referring to long-term styles. Styles like braids, wigs, weaves, styles that allow you to have your hair done and then you can have a few weeks without being all in your hair. This is so nice. All the issues that come with transitioning, you will get so fed up with it that giving yourself kind of like a long-term protective style, it allows you to just have a break, and we all deserve a break. For me, I actually pretty much did almost all of those protective styles, with the exception of weaves. I had never gotten a weave done, but I've had box braids for 4 weeks, and that was a nice break to just get up and go and not have to worry about my hair. I've had cornrows going back for about 2 weeks, because once that gets fuzzy, it's like, no, don't take it out. And then I've even worn a wig at one point. It was great. A lot of people actually thought it was my hair. No, boo-boo, it wasn't. It was a wig, and it was a curly wig because I wanted to see, like, okay, how am I gonna like this like curly fro thing? So that's why I went with that. If you are interested in long-term protective styling, make sure you are properly treating your hair before, during, if possible, and after. And what I mean by that is, when you put braids in your hair and when you're putting like weaves in your hair, you typically don't wash your hair for weeks on end. So I would highly recommend you properly treat and moisturize your hair before getting that style, and then once you take it out. And I only suggest you keep it in for at max 4 weeks. My personal opinion, you don't have to listen to it, but I think 4 weeks is enough because your hair will be crying out for moisture. When I had my box braids, after 4 weeks, it was like, all right, that's it. Like, that's it. My hair is dry. You're gonna have a lot of breakage. Your hair needs moisture, so I wouldn't go past that. Just saying. And when it comes to wigs, the fun thing about the wig that I had, because it was like an inexpensive wig and I would like take it off at night. It wasn't like a lace front that was glued in. I had to keep it on. No, I took it off every night to go to sleep. So every week I was still washing my hair and moisturizing my hair, throwing some braids in it, and then putting the wig back on and going about my week. So that was a good option because my hair didn't get too dried out. Pick what works for you, what works best. Just make sure you're treating your hair the way it needs to be treated and keeping it moisturized as much as possible, because transitioning, you want to maintain that length, so you don't want to deal with too much breakage due to dry hair. Also, another suggestion of mine would be, if you are the person that wants to use protective styling throughout your entire transition, like you go from braids to weaves to braids or whatever, to where you're never really dealing with your hair, I would kind of go against that. You need to learn how to do your own hair. So I would say, make sure in between protective styling, you do take some time to do your own hair. Because the last thing you want to do is finally become natural, and now you're like, now what? Now what? What do I do? I haven't done my hair my whole transition. What do I do? I don't know how to deal with this. This is new. So you want to take time to learn your hair and learn how to properly treat your hair. So just a suggestion in between your protective styles. Tip number 9, get trims as often as possible. The point of transitioning is to hold on to your length, and you slowly start to cut off the damaged ends to then have your hair fully natural. So you want to trim it so that you won't have raggedy split ends that don't look good. So when you're styling, it won't get in the way of it looking decent, or when you're washing it, it won't become even more tangled. That hair is dead, is dry, and it's breaking off. But trim it as often as possible to get rid of it and keep it as healthy as possible. Tip number 10, last but certainly not least, be patient and trust your journey. Have fun with it, because at the end of the day, you are transitioning on to the new you, and you want to enjoy it. Make it as enjoyable as possible. Don't dread it. Don't be miserable about it. Don't be unhappy. Just get motivated. Watch hair videos and just get excited about what's to come for you when you're done with your transition. Be patient. It's going to take time. We all get excited about growth. When I had my little curls starting to come through, I was hyped. I was always like, oh, let me see how long. Let me check this. I'm paying attention. Oh, it's not growing that much. Oh, don't worry about length. The average person's hair grows a quarter to half an inch a month. So that already tells you that you won't have growth overnight. You won't just see your hair inches longer in like 2 months. it won't happen. Just get excited about what's to come, and because it's good and you will not regret it at the end. You will be very grateful and very happy, but learn to love it. Even during this hard time, learn to love it, because that will make you appreciate it that much more once you get to the finish line, and then you have this big curly fro that you love so much. And appreciate the struggle so you can appreciate yourself at the end when your hair is bomb. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Those are my tips, my best tips for transitioning. I hope they help you, and if long-term transitioning is what you're after, use these tips, because I did it 2 years. It helped me. I hope it helped you. If you have any additional questions or something I didn't answer or something I didn't clarify for you and you're a little confused, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. I promise you I will get to your questions and I will answer every last one of you. I want to help you. I know this journey can be very frustrating and hard, and you can get confused and not know what to do, but that's what I'm here for. I want to help you guys out. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys at my next upload.